The old jazz club smelled of polished wood and lingering cigarette smoke from decades past, even though no one lit up anymore. Dim amber lights hung low over small round tables, casting soft pools on the scuffed stage. Daniel sat alone near the back, nursing a glass of bourbon he hadn't really tasted. The trio on stage played a slow, melancholy standard, the saxophone weaving through the room like a late-night confession. At 49, after his small architecture firm folded in the recession, nights like this were his only escape from the stack of rejection emails at home. He stared into the amber liquid, memories surfacing uninvited, blueprints spread across the dining table, his wife's proud smile at the first completed building bearing his name, all gone now. The music swelled, then faded into quiet applause that barely disturbed the air. Daniel didn't clap. He rarely did anymore. A woman at the table beside his finished her set sketch on a napkin, lines precise despite the low light. Early 50s, silver streaks in her dark hair pulled into a loose knot wearing a simple charcoal sweater. She folded the napkin once, then without looking around, slid it gently across the small gap between their tables, placing it in front of Daniel's glass. He glanced down. The sketch was of the club's stage, the trio captured mid-note, light falling just so across the saxophonist's face. But in the foreground, a solitary figure sat at a back table, head slightly bowed, glass in hand. The lines were kind, not mocking. The loneliness rendered with care, not cruelty. Daniel looked up. She met his eyes briefly, offered the smallest shrug as if to say it was nothing. Then she turned back to the stage, listening. No expectation of response. He could have ignored it, crumpled the napkin, left early. Pride prickled. Being seen so clearly by a stranger felt exposing. His fingers hovered over the paper, hesitation tightening his chest. But the drawing held truth he hadn't voiced to anyone. He tucked it into his coat pocket instead. The set ended. Sparse claps rippled through the room. The woman gathered her bag, stood to leave. On impulse, Daniel pulled a business card from his wallet. Old stock, his former firm's name crossed out by hand, his personal number added beneath. He placed it on her table as she passed. No words, just the card. She paused, picked it up, read it. A faint nod, almost imperceptible. Then she walked out into the night. Daniel stayed until the club closed, the napkin sketch burning a quiet hole in his pocket. He didn't know her name. Days stretched into weeks. The drawing sat on his desk beside the laptop where he applied for jobs that felt smaller than his dreams. He traced the lines with his fingertip during long silences, remembering how it felt to be seen without judgment. Slowly, he began sketching again, simple elevations, ideas he'd abandoned years ago. Not for clients, just for himself. One evening, rain tapping the windows, an email arrived. A small community center needed pro bono design help for a renovation. The sender's name, Elise, no last name, the same careful phrasing as the shrug in the club. He replied yes before doubt could stop him. Months passed. The project grew, volunteers, grants, late nights at the drawing board. Daniel found rhythm again in measurements and light angles. Elise appeared at meetings, her sketches guiding interior flow, always precise, always quiet. They spoke of load-bearing walls and sight lines, never the napkin or the card. Some things didn't need naming. The center opened on a cool autumn evening. Locals filled the new multi-purpose room, children's laughter echoing off fresh paint. No minors in the story, but adults from the neighborhood gathered for the first community jazz night. The same trio played. Sparse, genuine applause rose and fell. Daniel stood near the back, watching light fall across the stage he'd helped design. Elise stood a few feet away, arms folded, listening. At the end of the final piece, the room clapped softly. No one stood. No one cheered loudly. No one applauded like it was a grand triumph. But everything had changed. He caught her eye across the small crowd. She offered the same small shrug from that first night. He answered with a quiet nod. The music lingered in the air long after the last note faded. In the end, as Daniel walked home under streetlights, he touched the folded napkin still in his wallet, edges soft from carrying. Great shifts rarely come with fanfare. Sometimes they arrive on a simple sketch passed across a table in the dark. This understated moment of being truly seen stirred something gentle in you. Subscribe for more stories that honor the quiet turning points we rarely notice. Has a small, uncelebrated gesture ever shifted the course of your life? Share it below. Your quiet stories matter. And if that unspoken connection still resonates, let the light he left on for her guide you gently into the next hidden one.